Hey everybody, it's Dr. Baldy, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about SCP-004. And I know what you're thinking. How did you get clearance, Mr. Baldy? And I'll have you know, I didn't. No one has clearance. You don't. None of these YouTubers do. And I definitely don't. But I may know a thing or two about our SCP here. Now, 004, it's a barn door. It has 12 keys to it. They're all lovingly referred to as, SCP-4-2 through SCP-4-12. Typical nomenclature for the old Foundation. Very original. Uh, with these keys, I want you to keep this in mind. Anything that isn't 7 or 12 will instantly dismember you. How do I know this? Well, you see, one of the original reasons that we figured this out would be the door being opened by a bunch of snot-nosed kids very early on. It was July, I believe, sometime around then. They decided, breaking into federal property, perhaps a factory of some sorts, and opening a random door with this key would be a good idea. And then walking into a space-time anomaly would so happen to tear apart someone before their very friend's eyes. Now, these kids ran to the police. The police are how we happen to find this thing. And the police happening to find a dismembered kid's hand in the middle of a forest meant a termination order for him and the kids. Kind of a shame. Wrong place, wrong time. Too bad. Anyway, dismemberment. It's gonna happen. Make sure that you only use 7 or 12, preferably 7 if you can. Key number 12 will lead you into a state of sweet, sweet catatonia, meaning you have no idea what to do with yourself aside from wanting to die. We sent in a few D-class in. First one attempted to gouge out his eyes. 16 later, about 12 died. 4 survived. Only one actually talked and told us what he saw. Ultimately, what we got was a bit vague. Big green creature, very large apparently, that activates an innate primal fear in all humanity that made him remember some long forgotten evil, some long forgotten fear. And, now he's got retrograde amnesia and a series of mental issues that require constant therapy. Not the best result, but he's the living out of the 16, while the other three, kind of bubbling and foaming at the mouth. Regardless, door number 7, your safest bet, is just a big dark room. We sent in a squad after the first D class came out completely unscathed, and all the information we really got is that it's a large room past the doorway. The door frame is the only thing that actually absorbs light inside of it. Even if you were to shine a flashlight through it, the only thing that light reflects off of are the other humans in there with you and the door frame. So, bit anomalous, bit space-time fucky, don't know. I wouldn't mess with it necessarily, but it's your best bet if you're stuck with a few sets of keys and maybe a threat of nuclear war, like we had in 99. 99, Site 62 starts getting built, you know? Gotta build it up because everyone's threatening war with each other. If we suddenly explode perhaps a site filled with very anomalous LK class materials, there may suddenly be the end of the world. You don't want that, typically, unless you're maybe the Chaos Insurgency, which we're not. Are we? We're not. We're not going to end the world. Do not blow up Site 62 with warheads. Right? Right. Don't do that. Anyway, when you get this all said and done, it was built pretty quickly. As it was built, a bit of information popped up that around this here barn door became, a bit of a time anomaly. Days would literally turn to weeks, weeks literally into months, months literally into years. Basically, what I'm saying is time moved very differently within this small area. So much so that it was decided that uh, All personnel on site had to be killed in an industrial accident, for their families at least. Clones sent in, everybody was replaced. Funerals, processions, all the concessions, the things you need to do to get a family through the grieving process as we all continue the work. Now, work is getting done. 2001 hits, and suddenly there's a power outage across all of America, all the way up to Canada. Power is completely out. And I know what you're thinking, the backup generators. We should be fine, right? Turns out that every single generator failed for a grand total of 53 minutes. Now, could you imagine what 53 minutes did around this space-time anomalous zone of Site 62? Nothing. Nothing really happened. A bunch of personnel actually said they felt a humanoid presence within the building, as it was drenched in darkness and they were attempting to get everything up and running. These personnel were actually clued in to a little bit of information given to us by the D class who so happened to, get amnesia. After hearing about the giant green thing, they said it did activate some innate fear in them, and the description that it gave was very similar to theirs. Kind of wild. Either way, that was the last big incident on site. Aside from that, we've been doing some studies on the door itself. So, turns out, someone thought, hey, we have a bunch of keys with anomalous properties with this door. Maybe it's the keys are special. So, we're testing out the keys on a few things. And on that note, actually, we found something within the factory in the manager's office, which does accept the keys. It's a big chest, completely unvarnished wood. So essentially what happens is you lift the lid off, and when you put things in it, it doesn't change the weight of the box. It's about 5 times the size of what you really think it is. So kind of think like a bag of holding almost. Pretty big stuff. However, the issue that lies within this here box, aside from it only accepting 6 keys for some reason, number 7 included, is that for some reason, when you close that lid, whatever's inside is completely irretrievable. And yes, there may have been tests on people, and yes, they may have been gone for a very long time, unbeknownst to where they're maybe. I have no idea. Most people don't. Only thing we know is that it causes some weird dreams in one of the subjects within the Foundation. Can't give any names, no kissing and telling. Uh, is there anything else I could really give you? A little bit of a juicy gossip? Well, we are also studying surviving the door itself. You we sent in, perhaps a few people, and we found consistently that the doors that dismember you drop 2 of your body parts immediately back somewhere within the Foundation at a specific time, which is near instant. And then another one of your body parts, typically the hand, as we learned from our teenage associate, will appear 10 years later within a designated location on Earth. However, the last 7 pieces of whoever may go through that door will be unfounded, unbeknownst, nowhere on Earth. Not much we can do about it, but that's the test. We're still seeing if we can fight the geography/topography of the doors, but there's not much information to get gained past this point. Testing will continue. We're not able to do much else outside of this. It's a shame. Well, regardless, I'm glad you wouldn't mind hearing a bit from little old me. I'm sure you're not going to tell any higher ups, not that you would have any access. And if they so happen to find me, it's not like they can kill me. So, I hope you had some fun here today. You could always tell me how your day went, if anything. I'm down to hear a little gossip.